And to this day, Georgina's like, "Oh, we should have gone that. We should have gone to that." Because we had to go do something else. We went to like a meal or something. It ended up being a bit shit. And then, oh, here we go. Jason Scoop. That's the guy. He's well worth a follow. He's really funny.
Jason Scoop.
Jared Leto meets Trump.
Trump, yeah. That's like the first thing. You type in Jason Scoop, it's like Trump.
Yeah, he's worth a follow. He's doing quite well. He just walks around with like a Trump wig in his pocket, and he just pulls it out, and he becomes Trump. He's probably one of the best like impersonators. He's got like the mannerisms and everything down.
That's amazing. Put on your wig.
That's his brother, isn't it, in the car? The other Leto.
I'm not sure.
I watched a really interesting documentary on them, and like he's got a harem, however you want to pronounce it, of women, and he has this like 30 Seconds to Mars harem. Thank you. Island, like getaway, like sort of like Firefest sort of thing, and
Firefest. Except it's just Jared Leto.
It's just basically Jared Leto. And he's like walking around in his like Jesus outfit, having all these beautiful women like following him around. It's really weird. He's basically become like a whole cult of Jared. It's bizarre as fuck.
Oh yeah,
quite an interesting documentary.
He's always been a really weird guy to me. Ever since he broke into the acting industry, I'm like, that guy's fucking weird.
He's a good actor though. That's the most peculiar thing about it. Like, you can't actually knock him for being. It's not like he's a shit actor that's like almost ideas above his station, shall we say?
Yeah.
He's genuinely very good.
Yeah, I mean, he's won awards.
He's got the ego to go with it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, because a lot of people are sort of generally humbled by it all. Like a good, like the anti Jared Leto would be like a Keanu. Like, whenever you see Keanu, he's like the most humble, chill guy. He gets invited to a wedding and he turns up, but like, that's mad. I cannot see Jared Leto being like, "Oh my god, I love you, come to my wedding." He'd be like, "Who are you? Go away."
Yeah.
F off.
Yeah. No, I've always heard Keanu is like super humble. I mean, he lives in like a flat or something like that instead of like a mansion, is what I've heard.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So he's not like. He spends a lot of his money doing good things, is what I've heard. Like, I heard he helped some guy start a business and, like, didn't want a dime from him. He kind of fronted him the money so he could start his own, like, life, essentially. So he could do better and stuff. So I'm like, that's just so nice. Like, if I had a lot of money, that's the shit I would do.
I don't know if I'd go quite that far. I don't think I'd be just, like, giving cash out. But I've always said, like, friends and family would be, like, totally helped. So it'd be like, "Oh yeah, you need a house. Yeah, well, don't worry, you don't have to worry about your mortgage."
Yeah.
You know, I wouldn't necessarily be like, "Here's a £1 million mansion." It'd be more like, "Oh, you've got 300k left on your mortgage. No problem. It's settled."
Yeah, that's that. If I had a lot of money, that's the kind of shit I would do. But at the same time, I've always said the reason I don't, and the Lord will not let me have a lot of money, is because I would build my parents a house, and it would look fine from, like, the offset, but then if you, like, look at it from all angles, it's just a giant penis. Like, the house is shaped in a giant penis. But it would have an indoor pool in the shaft, so they would not be able to refuse it.
Shaft. Yeah. And what's at the tip?
That's exactly.
The water fountain.
Yeah, that's why the Lord will not let me have that much money, because he's like, nope, that's not happening. You're not allowed to do that.
I'm sure someone must have done it. Let's have a look.
That's
penis. shaped houses. Google is gonna be like, what the hell are you doing?
There's a penis-shaped church.
Yeah, there you go. Well, it's DuckDuckGo. I don't actually do Google. I'm very anti Google. This one's good from the top. Penis church.
That's hilarious.
Gotta be intentional.
Oh yeah. That's hysterical. I guess mine would be probably a little more obvious than, like, some of these, but you would have to, like, look at it from the air to be like, oh yeah, that's a dick.
There's one in China that actually looks like a dildo. that genuinely looks like a sex toy.
Yeah.
There's obviously the gherkin in London. That's somewhat phallic shaped.
Oh yeah. I'm talking about straight up. You're like, no, there's no, you can't work your way out of this one, Johnny. That's a penis.
Yeah. I mean, the gherkin actually really looks like a
newly erected building. Don't say it like that after you're talking about how it looks like a penis. Come on, dude.
Up she pops. Right.
Up she pops, I'm dead.
Let's talk Buffy rather than penis-shaped buildings.
Rather than that.
As entertaining as that is.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So Passion.
Yeah, Passion.
Which is the one where Jenny Calendar dies. Spoiler alert. Sorry, I'm supposed to say spoiler alert beforehand, but...
too bad. Like, if you haven't watched it by now, we ain't gonna convince you.
For real. It's also like a 30-year-old show, almost, so...
Yeah, exactly that. Every time she dies, I genuinely have a little cry. Just like a little tear, a little shed, because she's one of my favourite characters. Yeah. She's smoking hot. And she just didn't deserve it, quite honestly.
No, that, like, I wanted to punch Jenny in the face for, like, 0.2 seconds for keeping everything from them, because I'm like, if you had, and the reason was, like, if you hadn't done that, they would have been fine with you. But then she gets to be on the outs for, like, the longest time.
Well, I was going to bring that up. I feel like the punishment didn't match the crime.
Yeah, no.
I don't think she was particularly bad. She was like, well, it's my people. I was sent to basically make sure he's kept in line. And, you know, I had a job to do for my family. But now I want to help you. So actually, really, you would argue that she's doing the right thing.
Yeah. She's trying, you know.
And Giles was quite rough on her for quite a while.
Same with Buffy.
Yeah, same with Buffy. But I felt like Giles was more so, because there's even a scene where he turns his back to her and then towards Buffy, just basically indicating you're out. What Buffy says matters more.
Yeah.
Which I kind of understand why. Obviously, being that he's her watcher and he's known her for longer, you know, his loyalty's more there.
Well, I think too, like the thing that gets me about it is I'm like, it doesn't have to be an either or, guys. Come on, like, you know, with Giles, I'm like, you're an adult, you can talk to both of them. Whereas with Buffy, I'm like, I kind of get her reaction more because she's a kid, you know, like she's still a teenager.
She's a bit more immature, and the fact is that it's the person that she loves that's most affected by it. And if Jenny had just been a bit more candid, they might have been able to handle Angelus better from the beginning.
Yeah.
So she's very hurt because of what's happened with Angelus, not necessarily because of Jenny herself, but because of Jenny's inaction rather than Jenny's actions.
And I think too, like, Jenny did have the ability to kind of not necessarily stop this, but at least inform them. So, like, maybe they could have made better decisions. You know, like, they don't know that Angel himself doesn't even know, like, one moment of true happiness is going to turn him back to Angelus. He just thinks, like, this is the way I am now. I have the soul. This is how it is.
They do. Well, yeah, exactly. So he's unaware that there's a way to break the curse. No one's aware.
Yeah.
This is only something that becomes apparent later with Jenny, and it's later alluded to directly by Angel and yeah, I think just Angel, in fact. But he basically says, well, it's not necessarily having sex. It's not that he's a eunuch, because Gunn or someone calls him a eunuch. I can't remember who. Someone calls him a eunuch, and he says, well, no, it's not that I can't have sex. It's that, you know, it's that perfect moment of happiness. So, and I think they even said that, you know, that's a rarity. It's not going to happen with everyone.
Yeah, yeah. Which...
So the point being, it was Buffy at that time that led to that perfect moment of happiness, rather than he gets his end wet and then it's game over.
Yeah, yeah. And I think personally, like, if they had known, I think maybe Angel would have been a little bit more like, we can't do that, just in case.
Yeah, sure.
You know, because Angel's he's a responsible guy. So I just...
300 years old, he's a bit more mature.
Yeah, that too. And I think Buffy would have understood, too. Like, if he was like, I might lose my soul if we do this, she would be like, well, we don't want that. So I think they both would have been, you know, a little bit understanding of it if Jenny had just been like, so the curse isn't just the curse, there's also this caveat. And so, yeah. That's why they're mad at her.
Yeah, I just don't feel like, for me, that the punishment was matched to the crime.
Me either.
I think she was doing what she needed to do for her people, and then she kind of somewhat abandons her gypsy ways, shall we say, to help the Scooby Gang.
Which I also think too, like, maybe Jenny doesn't even know that they don't know, because like, she doesn't know what's been said to Angel. He's like 300 years old. He's got 300 years worth of information. She's probably like, he's got to know about his curse. Like, she probably didn't even, like, register that.
What I wanted to mention earlier, you sort of alluded to things being black and white, or, you know, very, very simple. I think complexity in shows, I mean, and I don't mean overly complex, I don't mean, like, silly, multiverse goofiness. I mean clever, complex writing, where it's shades of grey, where you can have an argument of, oh, well, why is this right, why is this wrong? It's so much better than a plain, you know, right and wrong dichotomy, shall we say?
Yeah.
And I think that's why it's so clever, because you can see it from Jenny's point of view, you can see it from Giles's point of view, you can see it from
Buffy's point of view.
Buffy, yeah, exactly.
I think
what was funny about this one, this is just like a little anecdote. Whilst I was watching it, Georgina walked in and she goes, "Oh, this is the one that Jenny dies." I went, no, it's not quite yet. It's not yet. And then, like, 10 minutes later, that's the killing scene happens, and I was like, "Oh fuck, it is! It really is!" I was so gutted because, what's really good about it is the scene is dark.
Yeah.
And Angelus is like, so David Boreanaz plays I think he's best as Angelus over Angel.
I think weirdly. So too. I agree.
The way he channels like that really sinister, but the face of an angel, that hence the name, is so well. That scene is pretty tough to watch.
Yeah.
I think, but partially because I'm sort of so attached to Jenny.
I like rewatching this the first time, right? I completely forgot Jenny died. So I was so shocked. I was like, they're fucking with me. Like, this is a joke, right? Like, I was like, they're kidding.
When's she coming back?
Yeah. When's she coming back? I literally Googled it because I was like, she can't be dead. This is bullshit. So I Googled it because I was like, that's not even fair. Like, Jenny was like just patching things up with Giles and like starting that and like, and I was so mad because like I do like Jenny and then I like her relationship with Giles, and I'm like, Giles deserves to be happy. Like, I fucking love Giles. So yeah, I was so like, oh my god, what the fuck, Angelus, you dick.
Well, he really goes for the jugular. I mean, and what's interesting is Angelus in the past, he murdered his own family, and he sort of proudly proclaims that as well. So he's not above like really torturous things to those who he cares about. Yeah. And then this is shown, especially the very last scene. The scene, it might be, certainly up till now, I haven't had a scene in Angel or Buffy more powerful than Jenny being on Giles's bed with the petals leading up the stairs.
Yep.
And when Giles walks in, I mean, absolute credit to Anthony Stewart Head because he doesn't say a word.
Yep.
And his reaction and his sort of acting is just flawless. It's genuinely painful.
Yeah.
Which is, and it's only what 10-20 seconds. It's not a long scene.
Yeah.
And that's what it fades out on, and you go, wow, that's, you know, for a 20-second final scene, it's brutal.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely brutal.
Oh yeah.
The other thing I wanted to point out. Sorry, I've got a few thoughts.
That's okay.
I think the reason I really like Jenny, and I've gotten into there's a episode where there's a lady that comes from the UK that Giles is boinking, and she's probably appeared like twice or maybe 3 times, and also Joyce as well. Those sort of relationships for him feel not entirely wholesome, just kind of like it's almost like Ripper having fun rather than Giles having fun. And I think that's why I like Jenny so much more. That was like a wholesome, that could have been someone he was genuinely with, opposed to someone. And I'm not knocking Joyce because everyone adores Joyce, but Joyce was just a bit of bed knocking. It wasn't actually anything serious.
And that was literally just Ripper having fun, like that one.
Well, that's what I mean. So it doesn't feel so genuine, and I think that's why. That's and maybe that speaks something about me, because like all my favorite characters or moments are like involving Willow and Oz because of a wholesome relationship, Giles and Jenny because of their wholesome relationship, arguably Angel and Buffy. Maybe that's something that just speaks to me as a weird old man. Now, and also just think about this. I watched this back in '98 or whatever it was on BBC Two or Channel 4. I can't remember which it was. And we didn't have like, I couldn't have gone and Googled, well, is Jenny dead?
Yeah. So
you know, watch this on terrestrial TV live, and that's it. She's dead.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Well, especially at this point too in the show, like I know like later on in the series and in Angel, it's like, oh, this person's dead, well now they're back. So like if you're watching this live, like from season 2 perspective, where it's like there's no other seasons following, you really would just be like, oh my god, she's fucking dead.
Other than Buffy, and that's resolved within, let's say, a minute or 2. It's not. Yeah. It's not like she's dead. It's not like season 4 or 5, whatever it is, where when she dies, and it's like there's a great big gap that a whole season's break before she's brought back.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, she's dead for a few minutes of the show, and then she's brought back. So it's very, very different. So.
Coming back to what you said,
other than that, Doyle. That's the only other one I can think of is Doyle. That's because Doyle was written out, and that's very final.
Yeah.
So,
I going back to what you said about like things being black and white, and like I think a lot of the times we think like that, but Buffy does a really good job of writing more complex characters. So like there are certain moments where you're like, okay, well Xander is wrong and I want to punch him in the head for saying that, or Willow is wrong and I want to smack her, or or even Giles sometimes is wrong and you want to punch him in the head. And then Buffy, someone was pointing out Buffy in season 6, like her toxic relationship with Spike is just as much on her as it is on Spike. I think even more so it's on her, because Spike is a demon. So, like, what do you expect from him? And
she chooses to go back to him.
But at the same time, she's also an abuser to him. Like, she's abusive towards him.
Yeah, true.
And so I'm like, it doesn't make me like her less. It makes me like her more, because it shows that she really is this complex person, and she's a person. She's a hero and she wants to do good, but she has all these complex feelings and all this shit she's dealing with. And it's like, it's very difficult for her, and I love that. Like, I like complex characters. She's not all black and white or one note.
A great example is the episode before, the Bewitched, Bothered, and Bewildered one, with Xander getting Amy to do the love spell. What Xander does, you would go, well, don't be a dick, Xander. You shouldn't do that. but you can understand why he's done it. So it's that sort of shades of grey. It's cleverly written, where you totally understand why he did it. Me as an 18-year-old would probably have done the exact same thing, so you can empathise and relate. But as a 40-year-old, I go, well, I know better. Don't do that. So it's really interesting. I think it's very well done.
Yeah. And they do it consistently throughout the series, and not in a way that makes you want to give up, because I think there are certain TV shows that do it in such a way that you're like, that's so out of character, I want to give up on this TV show, because what the fuck? Like, we've spent all this time building this character to be this person, and there's no reason for them to be acting this way, and suddenly they are, and so you're like, this is just bad writing, and it makes you want to drop the show. Well, but Buffy's not like that.
I know we spoke about it last week, but it's worth bringing up again. The episode where I think both of us are deep into season 4 now, but the episode where it's all about Thanksgiving Day, and Willow's banging on about giving back indigenous land and all this nonsense. And I found that writing a little bit heavy-handed. And I was like, Jesus, I didn't realize Buffy was sort of so woke, so ahead of its time. And then Spike just like saunters in, and he just goes, well, you know, they were all as stupid as each other, and they lost the fight, so there you go, too effing bad.
Yeah.
You know, obviously I'm paraphrasing really badly, but
boo-hooing.
You have like the total opposite of Willow is sort of Spike's outlook on it. And again, that's that sort of that shades of grey, where you got the one argument from Willow, but then you got the Spike argument, and I was like, okay, I don't feel so bad having Willow proselyting about bloody giving land back and all that nonsense.
Especially I think the episode itself ends up being in a middling place where it's like, yeah, this happened, but it wasn't us directly. Like, I didn't do any of that shit, and I wouldn't have done it, you know? And so it's like, it's not right to attack me. I'm just trying to live my life. Like,
this happened hundreds of years ago. How can you hold me accountable for someone else's goofy ass choices?
Yeah, which I think is that's where I land on, because there's talk in America of like black people needing reparations for slavery, and I'm like, why would I need to give to them? None of my family were slave owners, so, and I also am just some white person in America today, and I would never own a slave. Like, I don't see them that way, so like I don't understand why I would need to pay reparations to them.
Yeah, the sins of the father and all that nonsense.
For stuff that didn't even happen to them. Like, it so it just doesn't make any sense to me, and yeah. It's one of those things that I think, like, if Buffy did an episode on maybe that, it would probably end up where it did with the Thanksgiving episode, which is, like, in the middle of, like, listen, I didn't do this directly, and it's not fair to hold me accountable. I'm just trying to have my turkey.
In 1998 or 2002 or something like that, yes. Buffy rebooted, probably not.
Who knows?
That's one of my big fears of Buffy, the reboot, if it even happens. I personally have my doubts that it'll ever happen, but I think what they'll do, because season 4 specifically is quite heavy-handed with some of the wokey nonsense, and if that's what it was like back in the early noughts, can you imagine what it'd be like now, 25 odd years later? They're not going to have Spike, singing not for the other team, or arguably being the alternate voice. That's not going to happen. It's just going to be, Willow, give us the land back.
Yeah. And I think maybe too that they I think about going to college, and very much like you're presented with all this information, all these ideas, and all these different viewpoints on things, and college is very much a place to get confused anyway. And so I think that's maybe why season 4 is more like that, because I don't remember season 5, 6, or 7 even touching anything like that. So
yeah, well, I mean, season 4 overall has been a real mixed bag. Overall, as I've said before, I remember hating it, and yes, there's definitely episodes and characters and even arching stories that I hate, but the overall feeling of the season is actually it's not nearly as bad as I remember, and actually there's quite a lot of good in there. So you know, so far I'd probably give it like a 6 out of 10 for like the whole season.
Yeah.
I'm not quite finished, but that's sort of where I'm landing. So whereas before I just remember I didn't even bother downloading them. I just wasn't interested. And like the wife will attest, I've watched season 1, 2, 3 I reckon 10 plus times. Season 4, there's bits and episodes where I just go, I have no idea what's going on. I don't remember any of this. And then there'll be a scene I'm like, oh, I vaguely recall that. So it's, I mean, I kind of like, I remember overarching stories. Adam's just shown up and I was like, oh yeah, he's as shit as I remember. So
that's, I'm excited for Something Blue. I just got done with Pang, so I'm excited for Something Blue. Okay. But and Hush and A New Man is fun. I remember that one.
Hush was really good.
Yeah,
there's some very, very good comedy moments in there.
Oh yeah,
and it's done so cleverly. I can see why it won so many awards, but it's far from my favorite episode.
Yeah.
The only other thing, sort of going back to Passion, we're sort of meandering here. The only other thing worth mentioning about Passion is there's a major thing that happens, which is Jenny is able to translate some gypsy texts for how to restore Angel's soul again, because there was like lost in ancient texts. No one was able to translate it. Jenny, being a computer pro, she wrote some sort of bit of software to translate it. It translated it. She wrote it to a floppy disk, a big yellow floppy disk, and proceeded to drop it. Well, she didn't drop it, so she was attacked, and it fell between the desk. And that's like, you know, that's the final scene of. No, it's not the final scene. The final scene of the attack, right?
Yeah.
Final scene of the attack. But it's really the frame is held on there for a while, and that's important because later on, Willow and someone finds it. I can't remember. Buffy, I think. Ooh, deja vu. Yeah, it's Buffy. So that's just an important bit about that. And again, this is this sort of somewhat clever tie. It's not quite as clever as Xander being a commando chappy, but they do these like little things. They go, oh yeah, you remember that from 4 episodes ago?
We're bringing it back.
Yeah, we're bringing it back. I'm glad you paid attention. Really good episode, insanely good.
Yeah.
A 9 out of 10, but also painful. That last scene is just savage.
Yeah, it's such a like I'm like, okay, it could have been more of a brutal killing, but I just think there's something about the way David Boreanaz does that scene that's so gut-wrenching.
It's sinister, and it's really sinister. Now, I know I've mentioned this before, but I really want to emphasize this. Like, for me, when a murder or a sort of a brutal scene, I think it's far more effective to hide any severe, when it's just on-screen violence or gore, you don't really have anything left to the imagination.
Yeah.
And so when it's hidden or cleverly edited, your mind goes into far scarier places than what they could show on TV.
Yeah.
And I think it's far more effective rather than having Angel on top of Jenny, punching her, and just a protracted, horrible screaming scene of Jenny crying for her life and all that. I don't think it would have worked. I think it's too on the nose, and again, it doesn't really leave anything to your imagination. Having that sort of, and also the fact that he goes as far as to set her up on Giles's bed, and pose her and all that, and you don't know that until the camera pans. It's so much more effective, because then all of a sudden your mind goes to that dark place of, holy hell, he carried her across town. He used her up. He fucking took petals and laid it out and tried to get Giles to believe that she was sat there waiting for him. That's dark. That's far more fucked up.
Oh yeah.
Than watching him beat her up or whatever.
Yeah. I also think like it works better versus him like draining her of her blood or like stabbing her, because like if he's draining her of her blood, it seems motivated by hunger, but this is just clearly like brutality and like
this is for the pleasure and nothing more.
And like putting yourself in Giles's shoes, like to walk in and you see her lying there as you expect her to be. And then you notice, like, something isn't right. She's way too still. And then you're like, oh my god, she's fucking dead. Like...
Eyes are locked open.
Amazing. Just like, oh my gosh. Makes me want to vomit thinking about, like, something like that happening to me. Like, oh, just not great. But also wonderful television, but...
Yeah, fantastic. So good.
Yeah.
Let's hop on Kill by Death. Another probably 9 out of 10 episode.
Yeah, this one, I didn't remember this one. I think probably because Nightmares kind of like overshadowed it in my mind.
Sure.
But this one is really good too.
Yeah, very good. It's a similar concept. Buffy gets a fever and she sees... I think it's based off a real German, like, I don't want to say fairy tale, because but obviously the Germans have got pretty fucked up fairy tales, but I think it's based on something real.
Yeah.
Or not real, or, you know, in folklore, shall we say.
Der Kindestad.
Yeah, that's the one. And she can only see this demon when she's got a fever. I don't know what, I can't remember why she ends up in the kids' ward. In the hospital, but does.
I think a child comes wandering and she's like, what the hell are you doing?
Is that what it is?
And then she sees, she's like trying to get the kid back.
It's following him, yeah. It's dark. It's for me, like anything involving kids, I find particularly upsetting. So for me, it's a very powerful episode. Not a huge amount is like it doesn't really develop any characters or anything like that.
It's just a solid just like monster of the week.
A solid demon of the week episode. And I really liked the ending where she's just like, I need to get sick again. How much should I take? She goes to take the... Willow's like, no, if you take that, you're dead. So, let's try and be sensible about this. And then when she fights, the fight scene, because I forgot that Xander followed her down into like the basement or wherever it is. And they when they do the choreography, it was done really well, because when it's Buffy's perspective, she can see him. When it's Xander's perspective, she's just punching the air.
Yeah.
It was really clever. I was like, oh, I'm glad they sort of remembered to do that, because it could have been really easy just to be like, I tell you what, we'll leave the guy on set and we'll just just add tons of B-roll of him being pummeled by Buffy. But they actually took the effort to go, no, we now need to do this all over again, except Buffy's now pummeling the air. It's nice. I like touches like that. And the only other thing I want to point out, how he sucks their souls is fucked up. That where he's like eyes pop out at the kid, that fucking it scared the absolute piss out of me.
It is so wild. It's just wild. Like,
it's insane.
It is such a and like his design, this creature design, I love this creature design. I think it's great.
So creepy.
Everything about it is like
the nails and the way he sort of like kind of floats along. Oh, wonderful. Well, absolutely wonderful.
And his like his weird teeth, like everything about him is like, if I saw that, I'm screaming. I'm sorry. I'm screaming.
Well, again, this sort of goes kind of back to what I'm saying. Like, maybe it's just about where I live, but I could see someone walking down the streets being sort of like old, haggard, and creepy looking, like, you know, with the hat and the sketchy old jacket and all that. Like, you could see some creepy old guy walking down a high street looking like that. Maybe not quite that extreme. Not with the eyes popping out, but you know what I'm saying. Like, when it feels real, it feels that more scary. When it's like going back to the episode with the eggs, where it's like that underground squid thing, like underground squid thing, sure, fine.
Yeah.
Doesn't feel very real. Doesn't feel very scary. Creepy man crawling around. Yeah, well, that's fucking terrifying.
Yeah.
I'm sure I've bumped into one of those guys in London before.
Well, and I think too, even like just like him walking by through the doors and stuff, and like, did I just fucking see that? Like, what?
Yeah, very good episode. 9 out of 10. No, that's a bit strong. 8 out of 10.
I'd have to agree.
Great monster of the week.
Yeah. Very fun, very fun. And then I only have eyes for you. I have to say my favorite part of this is Buffy calling Angel a bitch. That's my favorite.
Yes.
Highlight of the episode.
I don't particularly like this episode.
No.
I don't know. It's so the concept is there's a ghost of a kid who. So there's this kid and a teacher, and they're getting up to naughties, and he ends up killing the teacher because she wants to end things with him, and it all goes a bit wrong. And I'm guessing her ghost or his ghost, so a ghost is haunting the halls and taking over couples and reenacting the scene where he murdered her. And what would ultimately happen is a spectral gun, shall we say, would appear, and that's how the boy would ultimately kill the girl. And this started to repeat, and then that actually happens with Angel and Buffy, which is kind of how they break it, because obviously not obviously, Buffy plays the role of the boy,
which I love. I love the switch up. I think it's fun.
The switch up, and then because obviously Angel is immortal, when he gets shot with the spectral gun,
he just lies down for a moment and then he gets back up.
Oh shit, that kind of sucks.
Yeah. But it allows I think it's kind of clever because it allows the ghosts to then, because basically what happens is after, like, what's been happening is the ghosts will take over a pair of people, and it doesn't necessarily mean that these people even know each other. Like, the one guy's the janitor, and he's like, I mean, I've seen her around campus, but I would never shoot her. I don't know why I did that. And so, basically, like, after that, what happened with the people, the ghosts, is that, like, in their timeline, so he accidentally shoots her, she dies, and he's upset, so he goes and shoots himself. So, I mean, sewer slides, uninstalls themselves from life. Sorry, I don't know if you're allowed to say things like that. Yeah, so after he goes off and uninstalls himself from life, they're like, because it's like the anniversary of their death or something, they're like reenacting this with just random people who happen to be going through the same hallway.
Yeah, there's some dance or something going on.
And so Buffy happens to get taken over by the boy. When she shoots Angel, it's great because she's like, don't you walk away from me, bitch. And I'm like, yeah, bitch. An Angel who, like, just killed Jenny Calendar, she's like, bitch. And I'm like, yeah.
No, he's actually Angelus because he's stalking her.
Yeah.
So it's not actually Angel, it's actually Angelus.
And like, they're not each other in this scene, but I think it's kind of clever because, like, it gives the ghosts closure, because after she shoots him, she goes off to uninstall herself from life, and he appears again because obviously his body is immortal. You can't just kill him with a gun. He's a vampire. And so he comes in and he's still possessed by the teacher, and they kind of talk it out, the two ghosts. So then their spirits get to be at rest because she's like, I understand it was an accident. Like, it wasn't your fault. You don't need to keep doing this. And, like, so, okay, cool. Then they kiss, and then they come back to themselves, and she's like, Angel? And he just is like, ew, gross, love, and runs away. Disgusting.
I quite like that the guy that's in there, he's quite a famous actor, John Hawkes. He's the kid from back in the day. No, he's the janitor?
John?
I can't remember which one he was. Yeah, you'd recognise him if you saw him. So he's in that.
There we go. Yeah. He's got to be the janitor.
Yeah, he's a janitor, and then Christopher Gorham's is the kid from the past. Yeah, he's the one who looks like really clean and that. What's he most known for? Ugly. Oh yeah, he's the ugly Betty boyfriend. Why I know that? Don't ask.
That's funny.
Weirdly, IMDb. I always find it fascinating when IMDb is like, by the way, you're wrong. This episode gets a higher rating than Killed by Death.
Really?
But I'd absolutely. So the ratings that they've given these, I would absolutely flip them the other way around. I don't think it's a bad episode. It's just, I think the one thing that bothered me is the spectral gun. It's just like, oh, there's a gun. No, there's not. Ha ha ha. I think it would have been far more effective if it was like the janitor had the broom and he battered it with a broom or something like that. Like something like that where it's something in hand, but having a magical gun just appearing and disappearing just feels a bit goofy.
I think it's kind of nice though for the janitor, because then it proves because they're like, if you can't find the murder weapon, so they can't find it, so he doesn't I'm like, that's I just because the second he shoots her, he's like, I don't even know her. I'm like, oh my god, he doesn't even know her. He's going to prison for life for a ghost murder. What the fuck? That's not fair. That's some bullshit, dude. So I think not having the gun there, to me, I'm like, oh, okay, maybe he doesn't get convicted.
No, you're right. I'm wrong. I will admit I'm wrong. Yeah, it's a perfectly fine. What's nice about it is it does sort of develop the Buffy and Angel story a tiny bit more.
I think it also gives her closure. I think this is kind of part of why she comes around to being okay with I might have to kill Angelus.
Having to murder him.
Yeah. Without this episode, you don't really get Buffy to that place. So I think this is a good way to get her to that place, and then also she calls Angel a bitch, which I think is the best part of the episode. And it's it's very well acted. It's just, it cracks me up to be calling Angelus a bitch, because I'm just
kind of everyone's on their A game, even janitor and the kids who are in the 50s and all that. Everyone's on their A game, and again, everyone plays it so straight. So that's probably why it's decent.
Yeah. Definitely.
So go fish. Talking. This is where this is the dud of the end of the season. Because almost everything here is 9s and 8s and that, and then go fish.
This is the one where Wentworth Miller is in it.
Yes, correct. Yeah, the guy from Prison Break.
And I know him from Dinotopia, which I think is hilarious. Right. So I'm just oh, it's David from Dinotopia.
I'm sure you've mentioned this before. What's your take? 'Cause I'm kind of curious on yours before I spout off.
I think it was a very, it was an okay episode.
Yeah.
I think it's fun to get Creature from the Black Lagoon finally in here, basically, is what this is. These swimmers are being fed this, this drug that's supposed to be, a steroid to help them with their swim team stuff. But, it's also turning them into basically Creature from the Black Lagoon.
Actual fish.
Yeah. So I think that's hilarious. I think it's such a weird way to work in Creature of the Black Lagoon, but I'm hell, at least they did it. Because, a lot of people won't even touch Creature from the Black Lagoon, even though it's a very classic horror movie monster. It's just, it's hard. It's hard, because I don't think the design for it is very scary from the offset.
No.
But,
no.
it don't get me wrong, if I was in the wild and I saw something like that pop out of the lake, I'd be fuck it, I'm gone.
Shoot yourself.
Yeah. But, it's just not scary concept on film.
That's it. It's not a scary concept, and it's quite camp.
Yeah.
So, for me, it was mostly a miss. It's IMDb saying 6.7, and I think that's probably fair. Around a 6 is probably fair. The highlights is basically Xander, really, because he's arguably the one that carries this episode.
Yeah.
Being that he goes to be a member of the swim team, and he gets infected by sitting in the steam and getting this fish serum from the coach and the book lady, whatever she was.
Yeah. I think it's like the nurse.
Nurse, that's it. Thank you.
Yeah.
And it's all a bit camp and a bit silly. Lots of grown men walking around in big rubber costumes, running towards the ocean.
Yeah, which I think is hilarious. Like,
it's funny.
For me, the end scene, because they're like, it's so funny because they're like, they're free.
And they're like dolphins swimming into the ocean, like 4 guys in rubber suits.
And it's so fucking funny to me, but like at the same time, I'm like, maybe that's a nod to Creature from the Black Lagoon, because the guy who played the monster in that movie almost drowned a couple of times because of his suit. Really? Yeah. So like, they were like, okay, you're gonna go down and we're gonna count to 10 and then you're gonna come back up, and he just like never came back up, and they're like, oh shit, get to him. And so like, because of like the costume and the way it was, like that I think maybe it's kind of a nod to him, like, look at how far we've come, because that guy actually went on to found like a stunt the stunt actor guild, basically, for like safety precautions and all that kind of shit. So I think maybe it was kind of a nod to him to have them doing that, but also it's just fucking hilarious. Like,
the only other thing I wanted to bring up is, well, again, sorry, I was saying I think Xander's the highlight. There's a few funny bits where he comes out and Cordelia's like, oh man, who's that one? I want to boink that guy, and then hold on, she already is.
Yeah.
There's a few like just light-hearted moments, but I know I've mentioned this before. I think I mentioned like episode 2 or 3, where Buffy all of a sudden can like jump 10 foot straight up, and this is another one of those things where you sort of go, I don't know what the power levels are, because if she's able to static jump 6 foot, well, why the fuck doesn't she do it during a fight or something else? Because then there's a lot of situations she could have gotten out of, like really tough a tough situation just by static jumping 6 feet straight up.
Like a fucking kangaroo.
In standing water as well, nonetheless.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's fine. It's got some good moments, but
I want to say too, this is kind of like,
it's not. I don't think it's a skip.
Yeah, no, I do like it. I also think something that like I found really profoundly interesting was we have Jonathan here as one of the suspects, and Willow is like questioning him, and she's like, so you did something, didn't you? And he's like, yeah, I peed in the pool. And she's like, ew. But like, it's so funny because like Jonathan's already being set up as a character more, and so we see that he's very much like, he's very belittled and, you know, bullied, and that's important later on for an episode, and then it's also important for a later season even, which I think is interesting.
Right, yeah, him, Andrew, and
Warren,
thank you.
He that gets all of the Tillo, the Tillo hatred.
So yeah, it's definitely not a skip, but it's I think the problem with this episode, and there's nothing for Angel and Buffy in there, not that I can recall.
No.
Oh no, there is actually, no, because he goes to bite someone, doesn't he? And he says they taste funny.
Oh yeah. I think it was it's one of the, I think it's Wentworth Miller. I think it's him.
The guy from Prison Break.
Dinotopia. Yeah, I think it's him.
Blood. He's like, oh, it tastes nasty or whatever. So actually, no. So I lie. I'm a little bit wrong. I still feel like if this episode was placed differently, because the ending gets so strong.
Yeah, I think.
And you kind of have this dip, and then it goes strong again. If it was just moved maybe 2 episodes away.
Yeah.
I think you would have just had a much stronger finish.
Yeah.
It just can't. It's a bit like when you listen to an album and you go, I kind of don't want this track, especially if it's like, I don't know, let's say it's like a punk album, and then it's just like in the middle it's got like a sort of a country and western goofy track, and you're like, well, I don't necessarily have anything against it, but it just takes the flow away from the rest of the album. It's kind of got that vibe where you're just like, I don't think it's skippable, but it's.
Yeah. I think even just flip, I Only Have Eyes for You and Go Fish, That would be a better flow.
Would fix the flow that much better, yeah.
Yeah, because, like, Go Fish, like you said, it's not really, like, Angel Buffy centric, and that's, like, we're really coming down to the wire on that here. So, to just have this random thing happening that has nothing to do with Angelus is, like, it's a little bit strange. Like, I get that it would probably happen, but at the same time, I'm like, it just messes with the flow of the show.
You need the formula of Monster of the Week, and then Arch in story, Monster Week, Arch in story. You kind of need that formula. Otherwise, you're just going to have, 20 Monster of the Weeks. It would be a totally different show if that was the case.
Yeah.
Or it would just be like the Archie story constantly, and again, it would be a totally different show. So the formula works. I just feel like that particular episode kind of knackers up the flow for me. Maybe I'm wrong.
Well, and I think too, like, it's because it's a Monster of the Week, but it has nothing to do with, like, the developing story, whereas I Only Have Eyes for You is technically a Monster of the Week, but you have this developing story also. Yeah. So I think, just having that in front of Becoming would have been better than having Go Fish right there.
Sure, yeah, I'd agree with that. You could even potentially move it like straight after Passion, and then maybe even have Killed by Death, especially if you Killed by Death doesn't even really have the Scooby Gang other than maybe a little bit at the beginning and a bit at the end with Xander. It's a very Buffy heavy episode.
Yeah.
Buffy and that kid. Right, so the two-parter finale.
Woohoo!
Wow, where do we begin?
This I love it because I mean, obviously, lots of Spike going on. And little Spike, he's so upset because Angel is, like, all over Drusilla, and it just hurts his feelings.
And he's in the wheelchair as well. What's he called? Sit and spin. That's it.
Yeah, he calls him sit and spin. Oh, that's the worst. I love it though. It's so funny. But
I'm sure I've said this 100 times, but I absolutely adore when they go back into when they do like the period drama Buffy and Angel. So when you get Angel and Spike and Drew all in like their 1800s period costumes wandering around the cobbled streets of London or Prague or wherever it is. So anytime that happens, I adore it, and there's quite a bit of that going on. So
yeah, because you get quite a bit of like back and forth in this first part. I don't think so much in the second part, but
I don't recall,
you have like. I also think it's funny because like you have like the Orb of Thessaly, which is like important, and I love Willow goes to buy it, and she's like, a lot of people just buy these as a paperweight, and then later Giles is like, oh, I have one, I use it as a paperweight, and you're like, he's one of those guys. But yeah, like you get this like backstory a little bit more for Angelus, more so even than Liam or Angel, because like you get him turning into a vampire, but then it's his deeds as a vampire kind of intermixed with like what's going on in Sunnydale current day. So like you see him first meeting Drusilla and he's posing as the priest, and then you see him in Romania like running from the Romani people or toward them, I guess, to try and stop them, but like too late, so sad. And then you see what he was doing 2 years before he met Buffy, and he's just like this dirty homeless man.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because there's a guy that is clearly like the setup of Doyle.
Yeah.
He's kind of got like a similar mannerisms. The hat is clearly. I don't know what you would. As an American, I don't know what you. Obviously, like in the UK, we've got sort of terminologies for people and all that. I don't know what you'd call that type of character. That's sort of like Las Vegas. Usually has like a hat and a fruity shirt, and he's kind of like in like bit of a sketchy fella. I don't know what you call them. I don't know if there's a term you have for that.
Yeah, I don't think like nothing comes to mind, because he is really just kind of like, he's kind of sketchy. He seems like he's kind of like a wannabe mafia, but like
kind of, maybe wannabe mafia is the closest, but he's kind of just got that like sort of weird edge. You you can imagine him pulling out like a huge wad of cash and just being like, oh, you need to borrow some money. Well, interest rates will be you borrow 1,000. You're gonna have to pay me back 2,000 tomorrow.
Or I can see him like trying to play cards with you and like win all your money from you. Like he's gonna count cards.
Of course, the deck is rigged and all that. Yeah. Like but he's like a really nice guy nonetheless. Like he's sketchy as heck, but
yeah. Like I wouldn't trust this guy half as far as I could throw him. But then like like they're in Manhattan and they go to LA. So like literally, Angel traveled with him, literally across the entirety of America, basically. So I'm like, clearly Angel was like, what do I have to lose? Might as well do it.
Might as well just go.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's quite interesting because like he's clearly Doyle is based on him or whatever, and I have not. It'd be interesting to know what happened because they're totally different actors. I don't know if like the intention was maybe that chap was going to originally be Doyle.
I was wondering that too because I'm like he has such Doyle vibes, so I was like
it's almost 1-to-1.
Yeah, so I was very much like I wonder if he was like if they had this idea for Doyle and maybe they wanted this guy back, or if they just wanted to recycle this type of character. Who knows? But
was Glenn Quinn always their guy, and they couldn't get a hold of him because of Roseanne, or was there something else? I don't know. I'd love to know that because it's clearly him, but not him. If that makes any sense. Other than the biggest thing being that he's not Irish. So
yeah. He just looks like he could be.
He just looks like it could be, exactly. So back to Becoming. So there's this great big stone thing that Angel got from, it was a bit earlier, wasn't it?
Yeah, they dig it up, the archaeological, like, local archaeologists dig it up, and they're like, they invite Giles to look at it, because they're like, we hear you're an expert at things, and he's like, yes, I am very expert at things, and so he's like...
I smart.
Yeah, he's like, this is a summoning thing, and they're like, for what? And he's like,
no.
You don't need to know that bit. And then, of course, Angelus hears about it, and he's like, oh, it's a Cathala. That sounds great. And he's here, and I can summon him. And you're like, oh, shit.
Inside the big stone thing, another stone thing is like this gargoyle thing.
Yeah. And then, like, the way to kill him is, like, you have to stab him in the heart with this specific sword, essentially.
With blood on it.
Yeah. So, Angel is like, I'm gonna fuck the whole world up, and Spike is like...
Don't do that.
Yeah, which
that's quite fun.
That doesn't quite happen in this one. Like he kind of is like going along with it, and then towards the end of this one, Angel's like, "Haha, Buffy, I'm gonna fuck your life up if you don't meet me at the cemetery because I'm gonna kill a bunch of people." So she goes out there and he's like, "You're so dumb, you keep falling for this trick," because he's literally just trying to get her away from her friends who are in the library, which is not a great place to be honest, if there's like a bunch of vampires possibly on the verge of killing you, because like they can just enter since it's a public space. Like, at least be in your own house, but whatever. So they go in there, Drusilla takes a group in, they like start kicking everybody's asses. She kills Kendra.
They specifically want Giles.
And they take Giles, yeah.
They take Giles. I'm glad you brought that up because to be honest, I'd even forgotten about it. But her killing Kendra is played so matter of fact and so quick.
Yeah.
It's almost like a blink and you miss it. And it's what's really nice about it is it's such a Drusilla murder. Like, she's got her long nails and she kind of like does this like dance and just whips it across her throat super quick.
Yeah.
And that's it. It's like game over. There's sort of, if it had been Angel, it would have been more like Jenny, sort of like all posed and mad. Spike would have probably been a bit more brutal and over, punk rock and over the top. It's interesting how they've written that each character when they do, commit a murder or whatever, it's suitable to their character. It's like it matches their what you would believe they would do, and I think that's really interesting without again, and Drusilla being such a fantastic character because again she pretty much disappears.
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah.
Sadly.
She comes back a couple of times. It like in both Buffy and Angel. But it's all guest appearances, so it's like really sparse and just random, and you don't get much of her after this. Whereas Spike, he's a continual character basically after this, more so than Drusilla, and then especially season 4, he kind of takes Oz's spot in the lineup.
Yeah, so actually, I'm glad you sort of mentioned that. My favorite character of season 4 has been Spike. And maybe second, weirdly, has been Anya.
Yeah, I like. They're so weird.
I remember hating her, and honestly, I've been watching it going, she's actually quite funny.
Yeah.
And I'm quite enjoying her character. And Spike is just Spike.
Yeah.
And the way that they sort of neuter him it's a bit goofy, but it kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
So
I think the part becoming part 2 is kind of Spike's switchover. And even Drusilla is like when he comes back in season 3, he's like, Drew left me because of my pact with you, but it was temporary. Like it was only to save her.
Like a slob demon or sloth demon or something like that. Have you ever smelt a sloth demon? It's really well done because you can tell he's still bitter about her buggering off and leaving him.
Oh yeah. Spike's dialogue. I don't blame him. Yeah, it's always so good. And then like this episode, he's like, Buffy, like at this point he's been in a wheelchair, right? So he suddenly is like here. Buffy's about to get arrested for the murder of Kendra, which she didn't do, and she like at the end of the becoming part 1, the police show up and they're like, put your hands up, like you're under arrest, because obviously there's been a murder, and then she escapes the cops, so she's on the run from them, and one is about to get her again, and Spike shows up and he's just like, listen, he's gonna end the world. I think that's a bad idea. Like, I like the world the way it is. I get to have my smokes, and there's walking Happy Meals everywhere, and like it's great. I don't understand why he would want to destroy the balance of that, but I'm about an easy life, and this is an easy life, so I'm with you on this one. We gotta stop him from summoning a Cathla, and his thing is like, we can't kill Drusilla. He was like, you can do whatever you want with Angelus, with a Cathla, but we can't kill Drusilla, and she's like, okay, fine. Yeah. So
his plan at that point is that they escape, because I think he even says we'll bugger off out of Sunnydale, leave this godforsaken town, something to that effect. He's like, you leave me alone, I'll help you, and then us two we're off, and we'll never bother you again.
Yeah, and then they
obviously
is a lie.
Yes, we don't know that.
But so they go to like Buffy's house to get her shit, and of course she has to invite him in and everything. And Joyce is like, "Who the fuck is this?" And she's like,
No, because she said, don't I remember you? And then he...
Hi, Galaxy.
Because it's a reference to the episode where they break into the school.
Well, at first she's like, because she's still trying to hide she's a Slayer. So at first she's like, this is Spike, he and I are in a band together. And he's like, oh yeah, she's on the drums. And he's the lead singer. And it's just so good, because you're like, this is she's like, I didn't know you were in a band. And she's like, yep, totally. And then vampires show up or something, and they have to kill the vampires, and then it's like, okay, the cat's out of the bag. She has to explain to Joyce, like, I'm the Slayer, and she's like, have you ever tried not being the Slayer? And she's like, it doesn't work like that, Mom. And of course it's like it's very like obviously like they're talking about being gay, essentially, is like this conversation is like, well, have you ever tried not being gay, like maybe you could just try something different. And so it's very like, I think it's very coded with that, but also I think it's hilarious because she's like,
I didn't get it from that.
Oh really?
But I do wonder. No, I didn't. I do wonder though, because sometimes I see what I want to see, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So if I don't want to see any sort of woke nonsense, I can almost program my mind to not see it. So maybe you're right that it is coded in there. I just don't. I never saw it like that, and I don't think I still would.
Yeah. To me, that's what it. how it read exactly.
My brain doesn't want it, so it just ignores it.
Yeah, which, like, it'd be one thing if it was like, I don't know, like, a lot of the lines Joyce uses, you hear, like, people use for, like,
evangelicals, yeah,
being gay and stuff, and so, like, that's just kind of, like, and maybe I'm more sensitive to it being a Christian, like, I've heard all these arguments, I've heard people say these things, and as ridiculous as they are, and Buffy's like, I'm a Slayer, like, I can't undo that, like, it just is what it is. And while she's getting her shit, she's in the living room with Spike, and she's like, don't I know you from somewhere? And he's like, oh yeah, get your hands off my daughter. And, like, yeah, he does the, like, you hit me with an axe once, and she's like, oh. Just cracks me up because he's so calm about it. Like,
it's what we've said a few times already, that how they tie things together, many episodes, this is like 10 episodes ago, if not maybe even more, where they've just gone, oh yeah, you remember this silly scene from half a season ago, well, here we are referencing it again. And it's so well done.
Yeah, that's the other thing, Galaxy, is this, like, it's so weird because you get to, I forget what it is, if it's season 5 or 6, but there's an episode where Buffy is talking to Willow, and she's like, I tried to tell my mom when we lived in LA that I was a Slayer, and they had me put in an insane asylum. And so, like, it's just crazy to me because Joyce is so like, why have you been keeping this from me? And why didn't you say anything? And blah, 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 blah. And it's like, bitch, she fucking tried to tell you. Shut the hell up. Well, this is the one time I'm like, fuck you, Joyce. Because I'm like, you literally made it so she couldn't tell you. Like, you put her in an insane asylum. Like, plus, you and your husband were fighting so much, you and Scott, that, like, it just wasn't, like, why would she have told you anything? Like, and then...
Or, here's the twist. Was that edited when Dawn was added in, and it's not actually Buffy Prime? Because so we call this Buffy Prime pre-Dawn, and then Buffy, I don't know, Beta, alternative universe, post-Dawn, and in fact that's not true.
That could be too, because it's so confusing. That's when
it is.
When they fucking spliced Dawn in there, I was so mad. I was literally... I'll never forget me just being like, what the fuck? Am I insane?
Yeah, me and my best... the guy who was the best man at our wedding... actually, I had two, but that's a totally different story. One of my best men... me and him used to watch Buffy till like 3 in the morning, so we'd get on... This is how old we are. We used to get on VHS... So we'd get on VHS or watch it on TV, and we'd sit there and we'd like back to back watch Buffy. And I remember watching the Dawn ones with my mate Tom, and both of us like, what the hell is going on? So this is like 2 in the morning. I can't remember whose house, because it used to either be my house or his house or like whatever. And we'd be like sat in one of our rooms watching and we had like shitty TVs back then. This is like 2003 or whatever, and a shitty little TV that we found in a dumpster or was gifted to us from some granny or something, on VHS, and we're just both sat there going, "What the hell is going on? Who the hell is this? Why is everyone treating her like she's just
been here the whole time?" Yeah.
Yeah. It takes a while before it's like sort of explained, and we were just not even, I wouldn't say angry, just confused. Almost like we'd missed a season or something. And of course, back in those days, I know it's not so much of it's not a thing at all. A good example is like when The Matrix came out. It came out in America like a year ahead of it coming out in the UK.
Yeah.
And you may be a bit too young for this, but the old days, what would happen was like... someone would rip the show onto a DVD or a CD, usually terrible quality, and you'd end up buying it in some sketchy marker for like a £5 a year before it even makes it into the country, and you'd watch it on a DVD or CD or whatever, in just the worst quality, because it'd be a year before it ever got to the UK, and I mean, I watch a lot of movies like that where it's just like, well, America have had it for 3 months already. I want to watch it now. It's not fair. And it's the same for like shows as well. So you'd have a show that, broadcast in '99 or whatever, and we wouldn't get it to 2001 plus. And then on top of that, if let's say it was broadcast on terrestrial TV here, let's say it was in America, it would be broadcast in say '99. And be broadcast on terrestrial TV, say 2000. It would be another year on top of that before it came onto physical media. So you could wait 2 years to watch one thing. And obviously we don't do that anymore. Obviously now it's like Netflix binging show. You can watch an entire show in one evening. You couldn't do it back then.
Yeah.
So, it was weird, So when you had an episode Dawn shows up, you're like, oh, I don't know what's going to happen next. Unless you had the VHS like we did. And,
that's hilarious. Yeah. That would be like, what the... I can't imagine doing that to people in season 5. Like, just watching that as it aired, I'd be like, what the fuck?
Yeah, and again, so why I bring this up as well is that I know we're not really talking about Angel at the moment, as in the TV show, not the character, but the season 4 where Cordelia becomes a god and she's floating up to heaven, and Angel's been locked up in a box and thrown into the ocean, and he's going down. So there's this like clever camera work where Cordelia's going up and Angel's going down, and they're meant to be meeting up and they're getting separated further from each other. And then that's the end of the season, full stop. There's no more episodes. You've now got to wait. In this case, I think it was 2 years before we watched the next bit.
Shit. That's a long fucking time.
We were like fucking raging. Because again, this is like me and Tom sat there going, wait, what the hell just happened?
Yeah.
And so tough shit. The physical media is not here for another year or whatever. So you just wait.
I would say yes and no to that, Galaxy, because, like, technically she could have stopped being the Slayer, but not really, because she still is a Slayer. So, she would have been targeted regardless of what she wanted, So, even with Kendra around, she still would have been a Slayer. Like, she didn't stop being the Slayer, which I think is interesting, but, anyway, yeah.
Of course, they sort of bring that up as well, where, when Faith shows up, she wants to go, oh, well, I could potentially go to college and live a normal life, and seeing as Faith likes being a Slayer, maybe she can go do it, which obviously kind of fails dramatically.
Kind of? What? Faith fails? Kind of, what?
So let's discuss the ending of Becoming 2. One of the most famous scenes, probably from the season, and it's in I think it's in the intro for season 3.
I think you're right. Where he's being he's like reaching out and being stabbed.
So Buffy penetrates Angel.
Not even in a sexy way though. It's in a sad way.
It's in a very sad way. It's done very quickly, right? And I don't certainly the first time I watched it, and even rewatching it whenever it was, like probably like 4 weeks ago by now, the gravity of what she's done doesn't really hit you in the scene. And in fact, I feel like season 3, it's almost that the gravity of what she's done is focused a lot more in season 3 than it is in the moment. And it's arguably, in the moment, it's arguably easy to miss what she's done.
Yeah. Because it's kind of like when Anya dies at the end of season 7. It's like, it happens so fast, and it's towards the end of the episode, towards the end of the season, so it's like, what is really, like, you're trying to grasp, like, what is really happening here, like, and so it is really easy to miss. Like, okay, so Willow finally installs his soul. She has to stab him because he's the one summoning a Cathala, so she has to do this to save the world. And so he gets taken into, like, the statue, basically. He gets sucked into this other dimension. And you're still not really sure, like, where he went. Like, I remember being like, where the fuck was that? Like, where did he go? Like, is he dead? Like, what?
Is he dead?
You just don't really know.
Where I
And then you don't really even know until season 3 when he shows back up and he's like basically a wild animal.
But they also do this in Angel as well. I think it's like season 2 or 3. There's a whole stuff going on with Angel going into demon dimensions. Then one to find Connor, and 2 there's like a whole arching, I don't know, 4 episodes or so where they go to Lorne's demon dimension, planet world or whatever it is, and there's a whole bunch of stuff going on there. So Angel really explores sort of visiting alternative demon dimensions, and they don't really do that with Buffy.
Yeah, no, I'm kind of...
I think that's a good thing, though.
Yeah, I'm kind of glad, because...
I kind of want them to be their own shows.
Yeah, well, and I think it makes more sense for Angel to be able to do that, considering he is a vampire, versus Buffy, who is the Slayer. Like, why is she get... like, if she goes into a demon dimension, she's gonna be targeted, because she's a Slayer. Like...
Yeah. Well, your argument sort of falls a bit there, because Fred is found in the demon dimension. Gunn goes with him. Lorne is a demon, so that sort of makes sense.
Yeah.
Who else? Does Wesley go? Wesley must go. I can't remember him going.
If Fred goes, probably Wesley does.
No, Fred's found there.
Oh, okay.
So how Fred comes into the shows? She was working in a library and she fell into a portal while she was working in a library, and that was Lorne's dimension. And they call them cows. The humans, they call them cows. It's quite funny. Shut up, cow. Anyways,
oh yeah, I totally forgot about that.
Fred is in that dimension. They find her, and they find the Gruselug as well, who's one of the worst, corniest characters. Cordelia is made a princess, and Angel, when he becomes a vampire, he becomes full vampire. So it's quite fun, because instead of being like sort of half human, half vampire, he goes full vampire, like an actual vampire demon, not a mixed blood. So it's the episodes are quite fun. So he has to not do that, but also one of the benefits is he can be in the sun. So like the whole time the show's Angel, the show is quite dark. It's very like dingy LA and obviously at night most of the time, but those few episodes are like kind of like ye old England. It's quite fun, like medieval England, and then they're running around with swords and stuff. It's fun. I like it.
Yeah. I think because he can jump dimensions, it's just like you can do a lot with that show. Like, I remember thinking, like, what is Angel gonna do? Like, he's just gonna be in the dark all the time. Like, it's gonna be... Which, he is a lot of the time, but then you have, like, Wolfram and Hart, and just all kinds of things. So it's, like, very interesting.
Lindsay, top-tier character.
Yeah.
Cordelia, Wesley, all of them are just, like, they are given such glow-ups.
Yeah.
I absolutely adore Fred.
Oh, yes.
I like Gunn. Even like Gunn's decent, and like he's a character that I normally wouldn't get, because I'm not big into like sort of like that ghetto and street culture. That just doesn't do anything for me. So having like like a street kid would usually be a bit like I'm not into that, but it kind of makes sense with his character. Like he's been on the streets surviving. So I don't think there's a duff character.
Yeah. They're all like Connor, I just want to punch in the face, but everybody else...
Yeah, you're right. Sorry, there is a duff character. It's Connor.
It's Connor. Fuck that guy.
And the girl, I cannot think for the life of me, that helps abduct Connor with the cowboy guy. I can't think of his name now. But because I think Angel killed her sister or something dumb like that. So she's got it in for Angel, and the guy that's hunting them down, he was brought back from like the 1700s as well. So he's like, there's a whole bunch of timey-wimey shit going on there.
Yeah,
that's the only thing you can argue with that like it starts to get a bit it gets a bit Marvel's, a bit timey-wimey and goofy.
Yeah.
Wait, sorry. Yes, becoming.
Yes. So she stabs him. He's gone. We know after the fact that he gets sucked into Cathala's dimension. Obviously he doesn't die because she just stabs him with a normal ass sword, and like he's a vampire, so that's not gonna work. So have fun in a different dimension, buddy. She's like, oh shit, because like he comes too, and she knows like, okay, he's really back. And then Buffy vamooses. She just like disappears.
Black, pretty much.
Yeah.
She becomes Anna.
Yeah. She becomes Anne. Good old Anne. Which I also think it's funny because Spike also vamooses. Like, she's having this big fight with Angel, and he's like, got a knocked out Drew, and he's like, oh my god, he's just gonna kill her. And then he's just like, meh, and leaves.
Just walks off. Incredible episodes. And a tremendous cliffhanger. Can you imagine if, let's say, it hadn't done as well as it did, and they left it there? That was like the end of Buffy.
Oh no.
Kind of, a bit like Serenity, Firefly.
Yeah, I would be very upset. I would just be very upset, dude.
Here's your cliffhanger. Good luck.
Yeah, because like as much as I love Spike, and I like Spike better as a love interest, I still love Angel. Like Angel is still,
yeah.
I'm not shitting on him and ever basically, because I love Angel. He's great. So that would have been really like.
I am Team Angel all the way, but I've definitely softened my opinion towards Spike and her, because in season 4 there's an episode where is it like what they say becomes true? No, whatever Willow says becomes true, and so she says, "Oh, you two are just like a married couple," and all of a sudden,
and then they're like, "We're gonna get married."
Yeah, and it's done very well. It's a very fun episode. That again, I thought I hated season 4, but clearly I don't.
Yeah, I also really like. I can't remember what episode it is, but it's the episode where they. I think it's something Rosa. I can't say that first word. Tabula Rosa is what it's called, I think, is the one.
Rosa.
And it's where like they all kind of forget who they are, and so Spike's like, oh, I must be a vampire with a soul, and they think he's like Giles' son because they're the only 2 British guys.
So Tabula Rosa means blank slate.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, the only reason I know that is because someone mentioned it before, and I was like, oh yeah, I remember that. Tabula Rasa, sorry, blank slate.
So funny though.
So
it's such a fun thing.
Person is the point, yeah.
It like I like Spike and Buffy's relationship because I think it shows a lot about like the vampires. Yes, they're like being taken over by demons, but they're still the core of who they are is still there. And so like Liam, who is Angel, not originally a good person. He
was a shit.
Yeah,
he got chucked out by his dad.
Yeah, and
there's a whole callback to that.
He takes the whole demon thing and runs with it. Like he fucking loves being evil when he's evil.
Yeah. Well, he was a drunk. He was who was shagging around. He didn't get on with his dad, so when he got turned, like the first person he targeted was his dad. He was a piece of shit.
Versus Spike, who when he turns, the first thing he does is he turns his mom because his mom is sick and he wants his mom to live forever. And he fucking loves his mom. Like, he is a mama's boy. Like, big time. And so, like, it's just, like, he was a very sensitive human being when he was a human being. And so, I love everything about Spike's character. From, like, him being William to William the Bloody to Spike. Like, I love all of it. And I think, too, the way they develop him as a person, and he's very confused a lot because he wants to do good and he wants to impress Buffy, and like the judge even says like you stink of humanity because he still is like he has the capacity to love, whereas like Angelus does not at all. So you're like it's so weird, but that's why I like Spike is because it's like it's not all black and white, and it's very
and also how it's an important distinction, and I know we've spoken about this before, where and Spike says so himself. He chose to get his soul, and even now, where he's got the chip from the army boys in his head, he then realizes he can fight, but only other demons. So he's kind of his hand is almost forced to become part of the Scooby Gang.
Yeah.
But he revels in it as well. He's like, well, finally, I can fight. I can do something, and you can actually see like his character changing already.
Yeah.
The chip in his brain is forcing his character that way somewhat, but.
And then you have like Buffy, who's like, I trust him enough. We can remove the chip. You know, at some point she makes that call, and so it's
much like,
yeah. And then like when they're fighting Glory, and he's like in the RV with them, and they're like, what the fuck is Spike doing here? And she's like, listen, he's gonna be the only one to protect Dawn if I go out for some reason. You guys are not gonna be able to hold a candle to her, so you know, he stays, that's it. And like there's a scene where they stab a sword through the roof of the RV, and he grabs the sword with his hands to protect Buffy, and you're just like, he has such a cool character arc, and he's such a like, there's a ton of like little things about him that like come through in his character, because like I think James Marsters has said like the first time he was sussing Buffy, that's when he really like was interested in her,
right.
And so like it just kind of builds from there. Like he even chooses Harmony as his new girlfriend, who's a blonde chick, and who
he tries to kill.
Yeah, which is so funny. I love that.
Tries to kill me.
You just staked me, and he's like, she's like beating on his chest, and he's just like sitting there taking it. Just good stuff. Good stuff.
I love Harmony. She's good comedy relief.
She is. I love when he comes back to her and she's like, I'm a strong, independent woman, and then she like pulls a steak out of the like from under her pillow, and you're like, damn, she really was like, holy cow.
So final verdicts on Becoming 1 and 2.
Oh, very good.
For me, some of the best Buffy.
Yeah.
Season 2 and 3, humbly, for what little my opinion is worth, season 2 and 3 is the best.
Yeah.
It's probably better than any Angel as well, and I fucking love Angel. I think Angel season 1 to 5 is stronger than Buffy season 1 to 7.
Yeah.
But season 2 and 3 are the absolute diamond in the crown jewels of near perfection for me. Season 2 and 3. They're dud episodes.
Yeah,
like Go Fish. Yeah, it's not great, but it's still like it's a fuckload better than a lot of shit that I see now on TV. So you know, you kind of got to be a little bit objective. In Buffy, it's a 6. If it was in a different show, it might be a 9 or 10. It just shows how good the other episodes are around us as well.
I think too, like I'm like watching season 4, and we don't really get a like solid you don't get a solid direction for where the season is heading until episode 6. And so like I found myself,
and even then the direction is 1, goofy, and 2, kind of changes, because it ultimately Adam's only revealed to in what episode am I on, 13 or something like that. So he the big bad of the show, the Iron Team, there you go, 13, episode 13 is the first time you see Adam.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I feel like they just didn't quite know what they're doing with season 4.
Yeah.
For me.
And it, like, I found myself, like, I was watching Beer Bad, and I was like, I can't wait for this episode to be over. I wanted to get to Wild at Heart, and then when I was doing the initiative, it was fine, because there was a lot of Spike, but then Pangs, I was like, this episode either needs to get Spike in here, or get over. Like,
it just could be done.
Yeah.
I think it was Beer's Bad. I sat there, watching it in the lounge, and the wife came in, and I was on my phone playing solitaire. She goes, "You're not even watching it?" I was like, "Yeah, I kind of am. It's in the background. It's fine. I'm doing my homework. Don't worry." But she's like, "You're just not interested." I was like, "Season 4. What can I say? It's there are some really bad episodes.
Yeah. Beer Bad at least has Cal Penn in it, which I think is fucking hilarious.
Yeah, the dude from
Harold and Kumar.
White Castle.
Oh, okay, yeah. That too. But I was just like, oh, that's hilarious. But yeah.
No, it's Harold and Kumar go to White Castle, isn't it?
Oh, okay. Yeah, it is. Yeah. So I'm like, for me, I'm just like with Pangs, I was like, oh, thank God Spike showed up, because he's sitting there talking to them, and then him becoming a pincushion is just fucking great. He's just like,
it's a half watch till the end. Like the end actually nearly makes up for it, because it's a fun few minutes at the end.
Yeah.
At Giles' house.
Yeah. And Spike just being like, he just tied to this chair and screaming at them, and he's like, a bear! You made a bear! I'll do it! And she's like, I don't know what I did! And he's just like, it's just good. And then like, them accidentally letting slip Angel was in town, and just like, that long shot at the end.
It's literally the last line as well.
It's so good. That fisheye shot.
Yeah. But what's so daft as well, the Angel episode that's opposite it, well, next to it, however you want to just say it, because I've been watching Buffy Angel, how it was intended to be watched as well. The Angel episode is fucking brilliant. It's one of the better episodes of that season. So it's weird to go from one of the shittest episodes of Buffy to one of the best of season 1 of Angel. It's really jarring.
Yeah, definitely one of those things where you're like, because I think, let's see, 8, I Will Remember You. I don't know, it would be Bachelor Party.
5 minutes or 10 minutes is a lot of fun. Do you know, the episode, I know we're jumping ahead here, but Pangs, if it was half as long, it would be a decent episode.
Yeah. It like, if we...
It's just so long
and I think Anya a little bit, like, if we had more Anya and Xander in the first half of the episode, I think that would have upped it a little bit more, because like, her watching him dig and she's like, he's not digging, I'm upset.
I was gonna say, the beginning where he's posing with the YMCA outfit and then collapses, like, that's played quite quickly. If they sort of worked on that a little bit longer and
or even just had
Anya joking.
Yeah, because Anya is so like Anya's so like honest and direct, and I love that, because like she's like why isn't he getting sweaty? I'm upset. And I'm like, damn, Anya, if you're not my inner monologue, like my inner cave woman monologue, like, shit, dude, like, she just I would never say those things out loud, but I'm like, if that were the guy I liked, I'd be with you, Anya.
You'd be the same.
Yeah.
My favorite straight up honest Anya is there's a bit where she's downstairs in the basement of Xander's parents' house, where Xander's now living, and she does the little hand gesture of fucking. So it's just, she just goes, oh. Oh yeah, okay.
She's so good.
Just a little gesture. And you could almost miss it because it doesn't like linger on her. She just does that little finger in
the hole.
Gesture,
yeah.
And, yep.
So good.
Love it.
She is so like she's just like I have she's always fun. Yeah, she's such a fun character. And she has such good characterization too. Like the fact that she's afraid of bunnies, you're like, why? But like she has her own reasons and she thinks it's very valid. And like they even give her little like musical number about it in What's More with Feeling. Yeah. And you're like, that's probably my favorite part of that episode is the bunnies number.
I'm going to say this because I'll forget otherwise. But what I was really surprised about, one of my favorite songs that I've loved this song. It's about a band called Black Lab, and I've got all their back catalogue now because I fucking love them. And I didn't realise they didn't appear until like season 4, episode 12, I think it is. I was like, holy shit, there's the song that I love by Black Lab. Well, I thought it was like, I kept going, well, where's the song? Thinking it's in like season 1, 2, or 3, because again, being my favourite seasons,
yeah,
clearly that's where my favourite music comes from. But no, it was like buried deep in season 4, and like blink you can miss it sort of thing. So, oh, there it is.
That's I really liked season 7 music for me. Like there's Blue, and I forget who does it, but it is such a good song. And then there's Pavlov's Bells, which is a kick-ass song. And there's like a fight sequence in the Bronze while it's happening. Just fucking, like, some of the music in this show will just randomly hit me really hard, and I'm like, oh, it's so fucking good. So I get that. I'll have to look up Black Lab.
Black Lab, I'd highly recommend it. The song that's in the episode is I Keep Myself Awake, and it's by Black Lab. It's on the Buffy soundtrack, so if you have that, you have the song already. But I'd really recommend digging into their stuff. Very, very, very good stuff. It's like it's kind of like softish, hardish rock. It's just rock is what it is. It's not like metal, not punk, but it's definitely got elements of other stuff. And the guy, he's called Paul Durham, I think it's how you pronounce it. He's a very good songwriter. He's got like a solo album as well, and I'd highly recommend that as a good listen. One more thing whilst we're talking about music. There is some more Paul Law, that's me, Logic I should say, Logic Law with Buffy. And I kind of forgotten until the wife mentioned it again. The episode Be a Bad, which is not a very good episode, but the song that's on in the pub, or at one point, is a song by Ash, who at one point were like my number one favorite band ever. They're from Northern Ireland, and the song that's playing is by Ash, and that's our first dance song. Me and the wife danced to. It's another Buffy thing that everything in our life is sort of like a Buffy or Angel reference that's snuck in somewhere, and that's another one of them from Logic Law.
That's fucking awesome.
Yeah. And loads of people are like, oh, where's that from? It's like, it's Ash. They're one of my favorite bands. It's like, yeah, it's Ash and it's Buffy. It's the double whammy.
It's the double whammy, lads. That's amazing.
You didn't expect that, did you?
Except your friends probably are like, oh yeah, no, that makes sense.
Yeah. So the track's called I'm Gonna Fall. It's from their third or fourth album, depending on how you count. It's the last track of Nuclear Sounds. It's a good album. It's a weird album because it's like indie meets new metal. It's kind of out there. You know, for its time was quite unusual.
It's good to know. I'll have to look into that too, because I've been mostly, unless I know there's like a song I really, really like, I've been watching these on the treadmill, which means I'm watching them with the captions on because I'm also listening to music because I'm also running, and I'm a spastic. I have to do both. I can't like run on the treadmill with just music or with just TV. It doesn't work for me. I have to have both. So, but
I can't run on a treadmill. Well, I mean, I can obviously, but I find it sort of nauseating.
Oh, that's totally valid.
I need to go outside.
I
actually went for a run today as well. I only did 3K. 3K is not a lot. However, where we are, there's a fuck off hill next to the house, and I run down it for just over a kilometer, and then I have to run back up it, and it is steep as fuck.
Damn.
So it's not a long run, but holy balls, it's rough.
I was gonna say, arduous.
Yeah, I'm planning to do a 10K later in the year. I've like signed up and everything. That's the plan. I've got like another month to get ready. But I'm not in the best shape. I'm an old man.
I feel that.
I'm struggling.
I'm trying to get back into it. I can do I used to be able to do 5 miles in an hour, easy peasy, when I was in high school. Yeah. And now it's like, it's a struggle to get to 4 in an hour, and I'm just like,
Yeah, so my best 5K ever is like 21 or 22, something like that. Which is quick. It was. I mean, back in the day, I was rapid as hell. And today, my 3K took me 24 minutes. So that shows how bad I am. It's like, okay. So when I was doing 5K, I'm now doing 3K, and my best 10K was 49, I think it was. Maybe it was like low 50s. I I haven't been tracking. I haven't done a 10K in forever, so
yeah.
But it was like high 40s, low 50s sort of thing,
Yeah.
which I thought was pretty reasonable.
Yeah, I
used to. Forever ago, I've done triathlons, I've done marathons, I've done half marathons, I've done them all basically. The funniest one was with my with the marathon, where I used to work. Someone was like, "Oh, I'm meant to be doing this marathon in 2 weeks' time, but I can't do it. Does someone want to take my place?" So I went, "Oh yeah, I'll do that." So this is like about 14 years ago, and I was like, "Yeah, I can be ready for a marathon in 2 weeks." So I did as much running as I could in that time. Did the marathon. I mean, I did pretty okay. I don't know where the medal is. It's downstairs somewhere. I was fucked though. Absolutely. And literally, the funniest part was like the last, I don't know, 3 or 4K, like going up to the finish line. I swear to God, I had like 50-year-old old ladies like just jogging past me. "You're right, yeah, man." It's like, no, you can't overtake me. That's not acceptable. But I was totally cooked. I did it all sorts of wrong.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's I'm like I'm trying to get back into shape so I can start running again, and it's like I have to be really careful because I'm like, you're not as young as you used to be. You used to be able to, break your muscles and it would be fine. You'd still be able to walk. Yeah. That's not how you are anymore. You have to be able to walk.
The lactic burn the next day, if I don't do a pre-workout stretch and a post-workout stretch,
yep,
I am wrecked. It's brutal.
Same.
The other thing I sort of look into for yourself, because I'm really suffering with it, is my knees. So I'm using runner's tape on my knees. But the other thing I've been doing is taking a lot of cod liver oil, because that's meant to be really good for joints, and that's made a big difference.
Yeah.
But when because I restarted running about a month ago. Yeah, maybe a little bit more, but it was like let's say a month ago is when I started doing just like basically I'm only really doing this 3-5. I've got like a 3K run, I've got like a 5K run, so I've got like a pre-planned route which I just do each time, and today happens to be the 3K route. Like the first time I did it, my knees were absolutely shot, so I literally had to go buy like cod liver oil and all sorts of things just to help myself, and the runner's tape. But be careful, because I think specifically my left knee might be like permanently damaged.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's really bad. Like it pops and everything. It's freaking me out.
Could just be old age.
I will say well, yeah. I mean, I'm 42 next week.
Not that that's old, but for a body, it's old.
Yeah. But I will say today was the least painful run with the knee. And so how much is that with like the runner's tape and the cod liver oil and eating healthy as well? Like, I've been up till recently I've been smashing energy drinks like it's going out of fashion, and I've pretty much quit them. Like, when did I have one? I had one like 3 days, no, at the weekend, because I was doing like some real hard labor, like moving stones and all that sort of stuff, out in the garden, and I was just wrecked. So I was like, right, energy drink, pick me up, get me going. But I think like quitting all that sort of shit, because it's just full of nasties.
Oh yeah,
makes a big difference as well.
Yeah.
The weirdest thing, not that you can tell on camera, but even my hair's coming back nicer. And the wife was like, "Oh, I read somewhere that energy drinks are like really bad for your hair."
Oh.
It's weird. But I mean, look, my hair's. I'm certainly don't have a David Boreanaz thick head of hair, but at least what's there is not as shit as it was before. So it's it's a good thing trying to get my shit back on.
Yeah.
In line.
It's rough once you get into a habit of it, but yeah, I've been having to take different vitamins and shit like that because.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I've been doing. We went to Costco, so I got the Kirkland size. It's like 1,000 and something multivit for men. So that's my multivit is the Kirkland specials.
There you go.
But I don't know if you're similar to me, where one of my problems is, I love food, like all food, but I also I love bad food. So like if you were to say to me, right, he has a pancake stack with like tons of maple syrup and some cream and some bacon and all. I'd be like, yeah, I am down for that right now. Oh well, you're trying to be healthy. No, you've now mentioned it. I've now mentioned it, and I'm now salivating at the fact that I'm just thinking about a pancake stack.
Yep.
That's my problem, and I don't let it go. I'll go downstairs. I bet you in like 10 minutes I'm gonna go into the wife and go, I really fancy some pancakes. We need to make some pancakes now.
Yeah.
Maybe, well, like I said, it's my birthday next weekend. So next week, so maybe I can make an excuse and say, right, birthday pancakes.
Birthday pancake. Yeah, no, for real. That's
in the shape of a cock.
Yes. He said, "Happy birthday to me. I'm gonna eat this dick."
So next week.
I will not be here next week. I will be.
Well, actually, neither will I.
Oh, well, there you go.
For the exact reason I mentioned.
He's eating pancakes and having a birthday.
I'll be doing birthday things. I'm gonna be running around in my birthday suit.
Hey.
A birthday suit live drum stream. So the week after we'll pick up on Anna. I think we're going to probably jump a few because there's a few duds like Dead Man's Party is a bit skippable.
Yeah.
Beauty and the Beast is a bit skippable. I think we probably go maybe up to Homecoming, or maybe we go up to Beauty and the Beast because Anne's brilliant. Faith Over Trick is brilliant. There's two incredibly good episodes in there.
Oh, I really like Beauty and the Beasts. That one was one of my favorites, actually. I just remembered that.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I'll probably talk about that one a bit more. But yeah, we could probably go up to Homecoming.
Out of Dead Man's Party and Beauty and the Beast is the better of the two. Dead Man's Party's
Beh. It's beh.
Maybe even bad.
Yeah.
And the only reason I'd say that is the concept's not that bad. I blame it almost solely on Joyce's friend.
Yep.
Her acting in it is...
She's so suspicious. I was like...
Oh, bad.
Rewatching it, I'd forgotten what happened in it because it was so skippable. But then, like, Joyce's friend shows up and I'm like, who is she? She's not right. Like, there's something going on with her. Yeah. It's like, she's trying to kill us all, I swear.
Who's the actress? Nancy Lehman. What's she known for? Catch Me If You Can, Sex Tape, The Great Outdoors.
Sex Tape? That's hilarious.
Oh, she's in the Boys as well.
That's hilarious.
Like, if you saw if anyone saw it, they'd recognise her. They'd be like, oh yeah, that person. But you probably she's in How I Met Your Mother.
There you go.
You would absolutely recognise her, but I found her just to be she's Earl Hickey's mum. That's why I know her, because she's in My Name Is Earl, which is one of my favourite TV shows ever.
There you go.
There you go. Thank you so much. These are always so much fun.
Same.
And, it's do you know what? I think I would do this regardless if I know I've got like no one watching me. I think you've got a few. It's a bit like the drum streams. I don't really care that no one watches the drum streams. I don't really care that no one comes and watches us talking about it. I love talking about Buffy.
Yeah, same.
I would do this whether or not people watched it or not.
Yeah.
I kind of don't care if they do or don't. I just want to talk about Buffy and get people like hyped up as much as I am. Yeah,
I like that's how I feel about it too. Because I'm like, it's nice to just talk to someone who is on the same level as like a fan, like the same amount of love.
I think you're a bit ahead of me. I think you got those Buffy fucking hell. You've got those Buffy muscles a bit more flexed than I do. I'm a little bit weak when it comes to it. Some of the shit you know is fucking wild.
Yeah, I don't know where I pull it from.
Blows my mind.
Well,
I'm well impressed.
When I was in college, I did spend quite a bit of time just listening to different Comic-Con interviews with the cast because I had time and I was in college, so why the fuck not? So, but other than that, I think you've got the angel knowledge way down better than I do. So.
Yeah, but when I say I've watched Buffy, when I say Buffy season 1 and 2 and 3, I've probably watched, I reckon, 10 plus times. Angel, I've probably watched like 20 plus times. Like, but that's because like I just feel like Angel from beginning to end is the strongest out of like sort of the lot, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's just so strong beginning to end. Yeah, it gets really a bit naff in season 4, is it? It does have a bit of a drop there. But yeah, there you go. You have a lovely evening. I'm going to go do daddy duties because, you know, I've got to do that. And we'll catch up in 2 weeks' time. Thank you, everyone who's watching or listening.
Yes, thank you. And thank you, Logic.
And remember, Angel loves you.
Angel does love you.
Now you know. Take care.
Bye. And thank you guys very much for watching. Appreciate you all.